दरवाजा ठेवला उघडाच ठेव. ते बंद कर विंडो.
आज संध्याकाळी काय खायचं? सांबार बनवला. संध्याकाळी किती वाजेपर्यंत तुझं लेक्चर? खाना तर घालून ठेव ना. Importance of research in management decision.
हो.
So after a long gap, I hope you remember what we learned the last week. Last time I have seen the cycle of scientific research, which is not a book, but for our reference, because as we proceed with the various topics of research, we must be knowing at what stage we are. Now today, as we have seen in the introductory and the subsequent lectures, the research is a part of our everyday life, as we have seen. So is the part of corporate life. Research forms the basis of any decision that is being taken by any organization. Maybe a manufacturing organization, it's a service organization, it may be an NGO, or it may be central government, state government, maybe institutions like India. So whichever institute, whichever organization you think of, every organization takes its decisions, decides its policies on the basis of the research that is being conducted. As sometime back in the introductory session, I think I had told that in India, for the first time, Tata Group of Industries was the first corporate to have its own research wing. And then later on, as you know, today, every corporate has its own research wing, which has different objectives, as we will see in the session. And so you will find that in whatever, even, and we have seen the examples also, that even in our day-to-day life, how we unconsciously, we do not do that process consciously or scientifically, but unconsciously, we do follow the process of research in making the decision. Even if it is a very simple decision to buy a shirt, for example, as I have given you last time, or to buy a dress. So we do a lot of research before we buy. Very rarely, maybe your parents or grandparents, whatever they needed, they just used to go and buy it. But today, because of internet and all the access that you have, you make a lot of research and then you go and make the purchase. So even in our day-to-day life, while we are making decisions, we are using research. So consider the organizations where the decisions of the managers.
Meaning of Latin word motive.
Please mute all the participants. Please mute your mics. So when we say the corporation or the company, their decisions, they involve crores of rupees and lot of future issues, development. depends on those decisions. Maybe your not decisions we are making at an individual. Maybe what may happen that afterwards we may feel that this shirt is not good. So you may waste only 500 or 1,000 rupees. But in the corporate or for any organization for that matter, any wrong decision may end up into loss of crores of. And there are very conscious decisions to be followed. Please mute up. And so you will find that for any decision that is being taken at the organizational level, the decision making authority, maybe anyone, maybe junior manager, maybe senior, maybe top level manager, whoever is the decision maker, the person has to rely on the information, the data that is being collected, that is being analyzed, and then a logical conclusion is drawn based on the data collected. It's not just intuition. I feel that this should be done. Intuition plays a very small role, as I can say. Earlier in organization, intuition was playing the bigger role. But today, maybe hardly 5%, 7%. Few people maybe depending on their intuition, but most of the managers will depend on the scientific decision making process. The person will collect all the information, all the relevant data, analyze that relevant data, and then come to the logical conclusion as to what decision is to take. Except that, as we have seen, for example, in military operation, instant decision making is to be done. Because there is
लवकर घेऊन जा त्याला बऱ्याच वेळ आलाय.
Please mute all of you. Mute your mics. And so, but you know, what happens is in army, the decision makers, they are trained so very well that in very less time, they can go through the entire process and take a decision. So afterwards, after some time of working and all these things, people can grasp that knowledge very fast. As beginners may take long time, but those who are in the field, those who are decision makers for say 25 years, 30 years, so they can grasp the situation and they can grasp the environment very fast. And they can take the decision instantly, as I have said that in case of I. But that is emergency. And take for example, now there was a bomb blast in Bombay Stock Exchange. Now, unprecedented. You never imagined this would happen. Now, in that situation, you have to make instant decisions. And आवाज जात नाही.
ऑडिओ बंद आहे की आवाज
जातो पण कमी जातो. स्पीकर पुढेच येतो. So you find that in such emergency situations, the person who is a decision maker at the top, naturally in these situations, the person at the top will have to make the decision. But the person at the top in such a situation will have to sit for 24 hours and will have to assess the situation and take the decision. And so you will find that it is important that management decisions are taken through proper information or data collected based on that, rather than only on intuition. And so in this section, we are going to learn what is management decision, what are the characteristics of management decision, what is the connection between research and management decision, and over a period of time, how this research trade has changed while considering or while taking the management decisions. So, what is the meaning of decision making in management? It is a process of selecting from two or more alternatives. So, in any given situation, whatever is the situation where you are required to make a decision, you have two or more alternatives always available. Only thing is that one must be able to assess what alternatives I have to solve this particular problem or to overcome this particular situation. And so you will find that decision making is a process of making a choice between the alternatives. Now, how these alternatives are available? Always you have to, your best friend, always you have two alternatives, yes or no, in any given situation. Whether to go for this lecture or not. You always have two alternatives. Now, third alternative, online, attending online. So either you go physically, you don't go at all, you don't attend at all, or you attend but online. So you have three alternatives. Now you have to make a choice that of these three alternatives, what I should be doing. And so you will find that always there is a choice. Now, for example, the business enterprise wants to, as I have given, it wants to increase their capacity, production capacity. Now, how to increase the production capacity? There are many options. Either you can buy your own machines, new machines. You can have your own new production line. So setting up a new production line can be one alternative. Another alternative is upgrading the existing machines so that they can produce more products or more items. Third alternative may be take up some small, acquire some small enterprise of the similar product line, acquire that and increase your. Another alternative may be upgrade technology. So you have many alternatives. Now, which alternative? How to increase the production? So, which alternative the manager should say? Because so every alternative will have its plus and minuses, will have its advantages and disadvantages. If you want to buy your or set up your new product line or new machine line, you will have to invest more. So whether the company really is financially strong enough or can spare that much amount to invest. So you will have to invest more. You will have to have more workers, for example. You will have to have more space in your production department. So these are the things which the person will have to consider. So advantage is, yes, we will have our own product line, and in future, if we want to increase more, we have extra product line with us already set up. That is the advantage. But the disadvantage maybe we will have to invest so much right now. And what is the rate of return on that investment? Within how much period we will be able to recover that? Instead of that, if we upgrade current existing machinery, what will be the cost? Whether that upgradation will last for how many years? Maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years, how long it will last? Or even after 1 year or after 2 years, we will have to again think of new product or new production machinery. So upgradation, what is the cost as compared to buying new machine? And what is the return? If we acquire a new company or if we acquire the existing company, what will be the cost? What will be the effect of that? So you see, there are, and then here, what I'm trying to tell you is, while thinking of alternatives, the creativity of the manager, the creativity of the decision maker is at stake. The more alternatives you are able to choose or able to develop, the more you will reach to the decision faster or correct decision, as I can say. And so, therefore, decision making in management is choosing between the alternatives and understanding, trying to assess the pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages of every alternative, and then selecting. It is a process of selection also. It's not only assessing, it's not only developing alternative. The first step is understand the problem. Then second step is develop the alternative solutions, as many as you can. The third step is assess those alternatives in terms of advantages and disadvantages. And then select which alternative is the most appropriate alternative in this given situation, and that is the decision. Okay, so this is how the decision-making process. Now, in doing all these things, the goal of the organization needs to be kept in mind. What is the goal of the organization? Why the organization wants to increase production? What is the purpose? So, what is the goal of the organization? Why the top management wants to increase the production capacity? And in the light of that goal, what are the advantages and disadvantages of these alternatives? And then which alternative is best suited in order to achieve the organization? So it is a process of developing alternative. It is a process of assessing all the alternatives in terms of advantages and disadvantages. And it is a process of selecting the best alternative which suits the or which contributes to the organizational. So this is what is management decision making. Now, what are the characteristics from these or from the analysis that we have made just now? What are the characteristics of decision making? The first characteristic, as I have said, it is a selective process. So what the manager is doing? The manager is selecting the course of action which is among the various alternatives those are selected. So what should be the what we are doing? This is actually the elimination process. Okay. So what the manager or the decision maker is doing? He is trying to eliminate those alternatives which may not be suitable in a given situation or which may not be in tune with the organizational need, as I can put it. So it is a selection process. What I select. So it is necessary to understand this process of selection, or otherwise I can say process of elimination. We can put it this way, process of, so you have 4 alternatives, process of elimination, and 3 are to be eliminated and only 1 is to be selected. So negatively I say it is elimination process, positively I say it is a selection process. Okay, so this is a selection process. Now second characteristic, it is human and rational. It is an intellectual act. Decision making is not anybody, particularly organizational decision making is not I should say anybody's part of it. You have to have, the person has to be an expert and the person must know the entire process of decision making scientifically. I'm not saying only no, but scientific. Why some people are at the top and why others are not? It is because the quality of decisions that we are making, they are at the top, which all the people may not have. So maybe in our day-to-day life also, sometimes we make a wrong decision. You make an investment in a particular share or in a particular bank or in a particular mutual fund, and your decision goes wrong and you are the loser. Isn't it? People have lost all their money in such cases, as we know, frauds and scams and all those things. But organizations cannot afford to do this. But even then, we say that there are many coffee cafe day, for example. So they wrong decision making ultimately had put that chain into deep financial issues, for example. And so you will find that even at the corporate level, we have seen many corporates who have failed. Big Subrata Roy, for example, Sahara Group. So we have seen many corporates who have failed and who are in deep problem because of wrong decision. And so it is an intellectual act. You cannot manipulate, you cannot be fraudulent. And if you are manipulating, for the time being, maybe you are at gain, but in the long run, it puts an individual or any person into. And therefore, it has to be rational. No emotions. It has to be rational. And when I say rational, it means that you must have a scientific bent of mind to make a decision, not the emotional decision. Many times we make emotional decisions. Particularly we Indians are prone to this, making emotional decisions and not thinking rationally. So it is a rational process. The person has to look at the situation, look at the problem objectively, not subjectively. We many a times we may look at the situation subjectively. And so you will find that this particular rationality in decision making becomes very crucial. So it is an intellectual activity. You cannot have your emotions coming into that. Objectively look at the situation. And therefore, then the person will have to also understand what will be the impact of this decision. What will be the impact of this decision on many stakeholders? In an organization, you have many stakeholders. You have customers, suppliers, shareholders, employees, banks, financial institutions. So many stakeholders are just a minute. Hello? हो आहे घरात कोणीतरी तुम्ही देऊ शकता मी बाहेर आहे आता खरंच उद्या आणा ना सकाळी मी नाही ना मला लेक्चर असतं दुपारी मग मी नसते घरामध्ये नाही मी नाही करू शकत हो And so you have to have that intellectual capacity to assess the situation and take the decisions rationally rather than bringing in subjective. So objectivity in decision making. And number two, the impact of that course of action on the stakeholders. The decision is dynamic. It is essential to consider. Hello. Like a phone name is like Somari Oh. Somari So it has to be dynamic. So time factor needs to be considered. What is the time? What is the environment in which the manager is making the decision? And the decision will be taken, it will be implemented, and you can see the results maybe after some time. It's not that immediate. For example, the Reserve Bank takes a decision today to reduce the rate of interest. So considering the present time and present environment and the data that they have, the Reserve Bank feels that the rate of interest should be reduced. But to see the impact of reduction in rate of interest, the Reserve Bank will have to wait for 1 year or 2 years from now. You cannot see today you take the decision and tomorrow. It is in a very individual, like maybe sometimes. Some decisions we see their impact after a very long time. But for organizational decisions, you see the impact after 2 years, after 3 years. So right now, this is the situation. This is the market. This is the. Right now, I'm taking as a manager, as a decision maker, this particular decision, which the impact can be seen after 2 years or after 3 years. Your decision to increase the production capacity. Honestly, the impact of that, whether that increased production can be sold in the market or not, whether that will give you profit or not, you will be able to assess that after 2 3 years. And so you will find that while making the decision, the manager or the decision maker will have to look into the future when the decision results can be seen. So it is not just assessing the present environment, but it is also the capacity of the manager to look into the future. What will be the impact of this decision in future? So this is dynamic. Goal oriented. As I said, without any goal, you cannot make a decision. Why I am ready to invest in a particular mutual fund? Do I have any goal? Or somebody says invest in this mutual fund, I invest. Many times we do that. But we don't put any goal for ourselves. That if I invest today in this particular mutual fund, after 3 years, I will get this amount for this. After 3 years, my graduation will be completed. And when I get this amount, I can pay my fees for post-graduation, for example. So you have set the goal. But because somebody is saying that invest in this mutual fund, I make that particular decision, and if I'm not getting the returns as decided, then so what I'll have to do, I'll have to study last 3 years of that mutual fund, what they have paid in last 3 years, what will be the trend after next 3 years, and whether really I will get, suppose today I'm investing 1,000 rupees, after 3 years, how much I'm expecting from that? Is it realistic? Is it rational? And whether that amount that I'm getting after 3 years meets the goal that I have set. So goal oriented. So without any goal, why I'm increasing production capacity? Why the management decides to increase the production capacity? Because they want to enter into a new market, for example. So they want additional production so that can be marketed in the new market. Why I want to market in the new areas? Because the company feels, or after proper research, the company has come to the conclusion that the product has good demand in that particular. So maybe after 3 years from now, when I'm increasing my production capacity, the product will be marketed. And getting the result of that, my goal is to increase the profitability. My goal is to penetrate my product into new market. These are my two goals. Now, after, and then I set the time period for that. That these two goals will be achieved in next 3 years' time. Within, say, 9 months or so, the additional production will start or will come in the market, and next 2 years marketing will be done, and in next 3 years, at the end of the 3rd year, additional profit from that market. So time given is fixed. So goal is fixed. Without goal, no decision can be. It is a continuous process. Can you say that today I have taken decision, now I can sit back and relax and don't do anything? Even in our day-to-day life, every minute you are taking a decision. Then consider where crores of rupees are involved, thousands of people are employed. See the decision makers, like every moment the decision maker is making a decision. So you cannot say that I have taken one decision, now don't ask me, and I will not take any more decisions. No, it's continuous. If you are making one decision, immediately you are into another situation, another problem, make the decision. And even you might have taken a decision 1 year back, and that decision now comes up again, that situation comes up again, you have to review your decision. So this is a continuous process going on. So decision making is not a one-time job. It is a continuous process. And in fact, they say that the life of a manager is the decision making process. All the time, he is making the decision. And why they are paid so high? Because the decisions that they make. Why they are there? Because they are good decision makers. Another characteristic is freedom to the decision maker. Whether the decision makers are given liberty to make the decision. So what is the organizational structure? Every decision maker uses his knowledge, logic, experience to make the decision. But whether that person is given liberty to make the decision, that is it. So how far the decision maker is given liberty to take the decision? If everything is concentrated at the top and the managers are not allowed to make any decision, then those organizations suffer. Because every time, in every area of operation, the top management cannot look in. So you have to rely on your managers for making the decision. So for a bank, all the decisions, policy decisions will be taken by the top management, by the chairman. But the branch manager, at the branch manager level, you have to give the freedom to the branch manager to make the decisions. If you are not giving, then they say that you tie the hands of the person, you tie the legs of the person, throw him in the pool and say, swim. It is very hard. You cannot do it. And so it is necessary that you give the necessary freedom to the decision maker. The decision maker will have to see what will be the positive or negative impact of the decisions that he or she is making. Particularly, while making the decision, he should think of positive impact. What will be the positive impact of that particular decision in future? As I said, always today you eat the fast food. Your decision to eat Chinese today evening will have its impact tomorrow morning. Isn't it? So, and then next morning you say my decision. You have to wait overnight till you see the impact of what you have done yesterday. isn't it? Simple example. Similarly, for any organization to see the impact, positive or negative impact, it will take time. It is not instant. Sometimes it is instant. If you eat Chinese, next day morning is the impact. Today evening, you listen to good music, for example. Overnight you sleep well. Next morning, you have a very positive impact on your music. I've given both examples. And so you will find that the decision maker will have to take a decision and consider what will be the positive impact of the decision that I am making today in future. So it is to understand the positive and negative impact. Now, every organization has mainly three strategies. Strategic management is not today's subject, but then three major strategies and for which research is done. And these are to expand the existing business. How to expand is a question. If the management, top management as a policy decides that we will expand the business, how we will expand the business? What do you mean by expanding the business? Enhancing your production lines, enhancing your markets, increasing your production capacity. Acquiring new companies may be also expanding business. So instead of setting up new sites, you acquire, say, India-based company acquire an England-based company. You are expanding. Jaguar is acquired by Tata Group, for example. So this is also expanding. Exploring new business. So presently the group is in one particular or two or three businesses. What are the new opportunities? Tata Group was in steel, for example. They went into hospitality, new business. The reason was emotional, but they went into hospitality and they made it successful. So exploring new business. So whatever is the present business, the group will decide to explore new business opportunities, for which again research is required. And so you will find that exploring new business opportunities, and for existing business you are already there. But in addition now, you want to go for new business. So hospitality maybe, or tourism, for example, or pharmaceutical, for example. Existing groups entering into these kind of new businesses. But for that you need research. Because which business you should go? You have two decisions, two main considerations, I can say. One consideration is you can go for new business which is in tune with your existing business. For example, you are manufacturing cars. Okay, the company is manufacturing cars, passenger cars. Now, new business. The company wants to go into, you can say, goods vehicles. In tune with your earlier business, automobile. Okay. So, this is in tune with your earlier business. But you are in scooters, for example. The company is manufacturing scooters. Now, the company wants to go into manufacturing motorcycles. In tune with your earlier business. So when I say new business, you have two considerations. One consideration is this: going into a new business which is in line, which is in tune with your existing business. Another consideration is going into totally different business. As I have said, Tata's were in steel. Going into hospitality, no connection. Is there any connection? No. So going into totally a new line of business. Considerations. So once you decide, explore new business opportunities. So you have two options, two alternatives. Out of that, you have to select one. Either you go in line with your existing business, or you go for totally new business. Do research. Do research. If the scooter manufacturer goes into motorcycle manufacturing, who are the competitors? What is the demand? What is the, whether we have that know-how? What will be the cost of that know-how for the company? What will be the marketing of that particular motorcycle? Can we compete with the existing? There are existing brands of motorcycle in the market. Can we compete with them? So you have to do a lot of research on this, and then select one alternative out of this. Now, suppose the company decides that okay, instead of going into the same line, we will go for totally new business, hospitality. Why? Again, do this. In hospitality, what type of hospitality? You have 5 stars, you have 3 stars. What it is? So Tata decided we will have Taj. What was the benchmark? Benchmark was European hotels. So goal was clear. We want to go into hospitality, and we have to have a setup which matches the European hospitality industry. Clear? Why this was done? Research. He made a research in India. We don't have this kind of capacity. And British Indians, they don't allow Indians to enter their market. So let us have our own market of that standard. And so they went into, and so you will find that again exploring new business, 2 considerations, do proper research, select one alternative. When you select that alternative, do again research, and then decide how to go about. So exploring new business strategy again requires lot of research. Understood? Broadening and deepening technological capacities. Now, this is a very, I should say, new thing that the organizations have to do. Technological upgradation is a constant process going on. What technology we used yesterday, today it is outdated. You were using 4G, now you are 5G. Maybe in 6 months something new comes. So, technology upgradation for last, I should say 20 years or so, this process, technological upgradation, it has become very fast. Till 20 years back, it was little slow, but now it has become very fast. What you thought of yesterday's technology becomes outdated today. And so, deepening and acquiring those technological capabilities becomes a strategic issue for any organization. Consider those banks who are not having their ATMs. Would you prefer those banks? So, for every bank, ATM using that technology becomes very, very important. And so you will find that technological capabilities, improving technological capabilities, and I have given you examples sometime back also, that earlier the painting of the vehicles, the cars, was done manually. Today we have robots. Earlier surgeons were doing surgery by hands. Today it is robotic. So you need experts who can operate through robotics, through robots. And so you will find that consider any field. Consider any field. And you will find that technological capabilities needs to be broadened. But which technology we should acquire? From where to acquire? Do really we need that technology? Whether that technology will be useful for us for 2 years, 3 years, how? What is the duration? What is cost of increasing that capability? Now all this needs to be properly researched and then take a decision as to how we can broaden or deepen our technological capability. And so any strategy of these three you will, and you feel or you will find that the decision maker will have to have lot of research done. Without making decision, you cannot take any of these strategies. And so research and strategy will go hand. Now, stages of business organization and decision making. When the business organization is at introductory stage, decision making process is different. It's a new business organization. And therefore, at the initial stages, different types of decisions are required. Like, for example, how to manage your capital, maybe working capital, how to acquire assets which are required, how to hire people, how many people to be hired, which technology needs to be adopted. So at the introductory level, when the organization is just starting, maybe first 5 years, 1 to 5 years. This is the introductory stage. It depends on where. For a mining company, it may be 1 to 10 years. For an aviation company also, it may be 1 to 10 years. But for a manufacturing company, a small company we are taking, it is 1 to 5 years, which is the initial period of that organization. And during this introductory stage of the organization, different types of decisions are to be taken. So what kind of decisions are to be taken at this stage? That needs to be thought of. And what kind of expertise you require in that introductory stage? What kind of situations you may face in the introductory? You have to face the competition. You have to build the brand, for example. So how do you build the brand in the introductory stage? Then growth stage. After that introductory stage is over, the organization starts growing. I'll give you an example. You have a small child. So maybe up to 7 years of that small child, as parents, the decision making is different. After that, when the growth stage starts, when that child goes for the school, then you have different set of decisions. Today, you have to make the decision before the birth of the child, which school the child will go. But earlier, what used to happen? After 7 years, then parents used to start thinking which school the child will go, which subjects, whether English medium, Marathi medium, semi-English medium, convent, whatever it is. And so different types of decisions are there. In the same way, in the growth stage, different types of decisions are there. Now the introductory stage is over. The organization is fairly stable. And now you have to grow from here to here. Now how do I grow? So what is my goal? So I grow means what? Only years? I don't grow. So I grow by adding more capital, by adding more people, by adding more market. So that is the growth. So by adding more assets, for example, by giving more to the stakeholders. So that is your growth stage. And at this growth stage, again, different set of decisions are required. So at that stage, the managers will have to think of further building the brand, further enhancing the capabilities of the organization in terms of technology, in terms of manpower, in terms of market, in terms of capital. And so how to go there? That will be, those set of decisions will be taken. Then the third is the maturity stage. So now the child has completed education and all that, and he has reached the maturity stage. Then the parents will think of different set of decisions. How he will get or she will get married, where they will stay, whether they will stay with us or separate, whether or what kind of family they will have, where the person or that girl or child, boy will work, how much he or she should earn. So, maturities. And so, at the organization level also, when the organization reaches to the maturity stage, the organization is now well established, well known, the brand is established now. People know, market knows this brand, this company. And at this stage, different kind of decisions, as we have seen, exploring new business. So you reach the maturity stage, maybe at that time, saturation is there. In your present line of business, there is a lot of competitors are there. And so, saturation. So instead of going into the same business again, do you want to diversify in some new business? So at the maturity stage, different types of decisions are taken. And then after some time, the declining stage also comes. Now this is a life cycle. Just as it is in human life, it is also in the business life. So maybe after 60, your declining stage starts. So after 50, you start thinking of after retirement, how much money I have, where I should get settled, whether I should settle with my children or I should live separate. So after 50, one starts thinking of declining. Similarly, in an organization also, the business cycle is there. Growth, introduction, growth, maturity, declining, and again introduction. Go to introduction again. And therefore we have the concept of rebirth. So again, go to introduction. So declining stage may be because of fierce competition, because of government policy. Earlier, no, tomorrow, if it comes true, I don't think next 50 years it will come true. But if it comes true, and really petrol and diesel is bad, then you will have to, all the automobile companies will have to switch to EV. Isn't it? That time, these companies will be in declining who are manufacturing vehicles using petrol or diesel. It will not come even 50 years. But I'm giving you just the example. So government policy, fierce competition, all these global environment. You may be supplying earlier to Ukraine, for example. There is no end. So your exports to Ukraine practically are stopped. Now, what to do? You come down. And then again you go to introductory stage. Let us have a new market. So you try to explore new countries where you can export your. So you go back again to introductory stage where again you will have to have research, new market, new country, their laws, their market, their competition, their customers. So again you have the same set of decisions. And so you will find that when we think of decision making, the manager, the decision maker will have to study at which stage my company is right now. Whether my company is introductory stage, whether it is in growth stage, whether it is in maturity stage, whether it is in declining stage, which stage it is. I may close down completely the existing business and enter into completely new business. Maybe. Because of fierce competition, because of laws, because of government policy, because of inherent disadvantages within the organization, whatever may be the reason. And so you will find that the decision maker will have to think which stage the organization is where he is making the decision.
Next meeting.
So which are the areas where the decision research is useful in making the decision? So there are many areas of management where research is important in making the decision. For example, market. So you have to do a lot of market survey. What is the taste of the customers? What they want, what they like. And comparison with the competitor. Who are the competitors giving a similar kind of a product? And as compared to our product, how the customers look at the competitor's product. And so market analysis and survey becomes important, and based on that, you make a sales forecast. So what will be the sales forecast for next 1 year or next 2 years? And accordingly, you design the marketing strategy. Whether you want to have more advertisements, whether you want to have hoardings, whether you want to go for television advertisement, whether you want to go one-to-one advertising, go door to door and distribute those pamphlets and all this. So what is the marketing strategy? It will depend on the survey that is being conducted. Survey is research, type of research. So you take the feedback of the customers. You take the feedback of the retailers. You take the feedback of the wholesalers. Not only of the customers, but you take the feedback from all these. And then you come to the conclusion what changes we have to make in the marketing strategy of that particular. For example, Rampal. You see their earlier advertisements and now you see Madhuri. Right? The other day, one of the consultants of I met him and I criticized him. I said, what type of a vulgar advertisement? Why? The product, what is the product? Product is household. Masale, Roji, Papad. So these are all household products. Isn't it? Even today, common households, women, they select their product, they select all these products based on their own experience, based on the taste, based on the company which they are buying. And this kind of vulgar advertisement you are making for this kind of product. So I reacted to that. And that person said, yes, I agree that it is a vulgar advertisement. But nowadays people like this. Who like this? So you will find that marketing strategy, designing marketing strategy becomes very crucial. And this feedback from the customers, from the retailers, from the wholesalers, help the company to design the marketing strategy. I said MBA-P79, for example, the owner himself, the old man himself makes the advertisement. So what is so great about marketing? You spend 1.5 crores for that. What is the return? She takes that was news for me. She takes 1.5 crore for doing that. And that MBH Masala old man himself was making that. And he is number one in India. In that segment, yeah, masala and all this. He is number one. That product, that company is number one. So, see what is the marketing strategy. Do you go by? Because marketing strategy involves lot of investment. It's not easy. And therefore, a proper marketing strategy based on survey, which is a form of research, needs to be designed. Then measuring promotion, particularly for the new product or the new service. When you are promoting some new product or the new service, existing company, you have some product already, and you have a new product now. SUVs, for example. When the automobile companies, they launched SUVs, that was a new product. So how they launched, how they marketed that, how they have taken up that particular promotional act. It is necessary to measure the effectiveness of those efforts, those were taken by the company to promote that particular product. Whether that promotional activity was effective enough to reach to the customers and make the customers buy that particular product. Ultimately, what is the goal of any marketing strategy? The customer should buy the product. We are not doing it just for the sake of doing it. Customer should buy the product. Whether that promotional activity was really effective in bringing new customers to the company. That will decide on success of that promotional activity. And so, in order to measure that effectiveness of launching new product or new service, research is how you will come to know it. You have to have research. Many online research is also there, isn't it? Many times you have the research that click whether you like it, you don't like it, you are neutral, whatever. And so you will find that many online surveys are made. The companies have their own research team. They do a lot of research. And then they find out what is the effectiveness of that promotional act. Then in production, another area where the decision making is based on research is production. So, what to product, what to produce, which technology to use, what kind of manpower you need to operate that technology, how much to use, how do you control the quality of it. So, all these decisions need to be taken. What are the requirements, quality control requirements? Are there any quality control requirements by the government? Any body? For example, for food products, we have food corporation. So they certify your products. So likewise, there are quality control requirements. So how as a company, as a production department, we comply with those quality requirements? Lot of this, where things go wrong. You know, long back, this is a case of a very, you should say some 30 years back or 40, 30, 35 years back. Crompton Greaves, they are manufacturing motors. And they were having one export order for this motor. Shipment was done. And after the shipment, after the customer, I think that shipment was to some European country. And when the customer received that shipment, they rejected the entire of saying that they do not comply with the quality requirements which were stipulated by the customer. So the entire lot was picked up. And there was a problem. Now what to do? So, in such critical situations, the decision maker comes into the picture. What to do? Discard all those moments. Study what is the point. What is the gap between the quality requirements stipulated by the customer and the quality of the product that was delivered? See the gap and whether that gap can be bridged so that the same product, improved quality, can be sent back again. So you have two options: either discard the entire lot, manufacture totally new product as per the quality requirements of the customer, or find out the gap between the two, make the necessary improvements in this lot and deliver again. Decision. Two alternatives. Now, if we discard the entire lot, what is the cost? And if we try to bridge the gap, what is the time? Main thing is, what is the time? To manufacture the entire lot, again, what will be the time required? To bridge the gap, what? Considering all these aspects, the Crompton production manager decided to go for the second alternative. He studied the quality of the product that was delivered and the objections were raised by the customer. He compared both and he found out the gap. And he decided that we will rectify that gap and make the necessary changes and deliver the same. Now, problem was identifying the gap, how to connect that gap, how to implement that, and how to measure again whether that improved lot is as per the quality requirement of the customer. These four aspects. And that production manager himself narrated the story. He called a meeting of all the workers, not only managers or supervisors. He called all the workers and he told all the workers that, look, this is the problem. I want you, because Crompton workers were having experience of 20, 25 years. They were not very well educated, they were not engineers. But they were having experience of 20, 25 years. So he put that problem before them, made groups of workers. One group was assigned a task to identify the gap. One group was assigned a task to assess ways to bridge that gap. One group was assigned actually implement that, and one group was assigned actually measuring the final product again, improved product again. And the workers did everything. The whole lot was improved and sent, and that was it. So, production decision. Okay. Optimal use of resources. You have production capacity. You have machines. Every machine has its own capacity. Every worker has his or her own capacity. You have raw material. You have accessories. So all this is the resources. How to use these resources to make the goal of the organization? At the end of the day, you must manufacture 10 units of a product, for example. So what is the goal? 10 units per day in a shift of 8 hours. So goal is 10. How to use the resources so that the production department can manufacture 10 units per day and allocate those resources. And then production department has additional responsibility of developing new product. If the top management decides that we will have a new product, as we have seen in the growth stage, then the production department, the managers, they will have to make the decisions as to how to do the research for the new products. And therefore, most of the manufacturing companies, they have research laboratories associated with the production department. And then supply chain management, from where I get my raw material. And how do I get it? By what means? Either by rail, by road. Because the production should not stop. And so I must have appropriate inventory. So what is optimal inventory level that the production department must have at any given point of time? So that decision also needs to be taken. You should not have more inventory, you should not have less inventory also. If it is more, unnecessarily you are blocking the gap. If you have less, your production may stop. And so you must have optimal level of inventory. And that decision needs to be taken based on the research that is being done. Then another area is finance and accounting. So they have to prepare budget, forecast how much capital they will require in future, where will they invest. So financial decisions need to be taken. Workers are demanding more wages. For example, the shareholders are demanding more dividend, for example. So financial decisions need to be taken. How much working capital, how much fixed asset capital you need to have? What is the budget for that? And how the investments will be made. If you are buying a new asset, what should be the investment strategy? Where you should invest? How much you should invest? Then auditing of the financial accounts, portfolio management. In a company which is having say 4, 5, 6 products, then the company the managers will have to make a decision. There are some products which are, as we call them, cash cows. They bring you maximum returns. There are star products. Okay. Similarly, there are dogs who don't give you any returns as such. Yes, it is decision. And so portfolio management. And so you will find that the decision is to be taken. So whether the dogs will continue or you have to stop the production of those and go for star product or go for cash cows who can become star of tomorrow. So these decisions in finance and accounting. Then you have human resources. And there you have so many decisions to be taken. Who should be recruited? Recruitment first. What kind of people you need? What should be the productivity of these people? What should be the training for these people? How to measure the efficiency of these people? In production line, it is easy to measure the efficiency, but how you will measure the efficiency of a person working in a finance department? What is that? You have to measure the productivity of it. Whether that person is really contributing to the organizational goal or not, you must know. Whether he is working in finance or whether he is working in marketing or in finance. And so, how to measure the productivity of each and every person in the organization? Then performance analysis, how to measure the performance. Promotions, how to give the promotions. To whom you should give promotions. Wages, incentives. Now, every area of human resource needs a lot of this. And then not only you have to do the research within your organization, but you will have to do the research of the organization of the similar time. A cooperative bank will study the wages or the salaries which are paid by other banks also. So what is in the market? What is in the market? How much is being paid by similar organization for similar position in our competitor or by the competitor, by other companies? So that also will have to be studied. For example, a receptionist in a 5-star hotel, how much that person is paid in one country and in other one. That is many times this is very crucial. And what is our culture? What is our standard? So compare these two and then make a decision how much wages and what incentives and salaries you will pay to the human resource in your organization. And so human resource, lot of research is required. Now, types of research in management decisions. Incremental research. These are the small steps which are taken to improve the efficiency or methods of working and all this. For example, as manufacturing cost is to be reduced. How to reduce the manufacturing cost? Now, this is mainly based on Kaizen, as you can see. Kaizen is a Japanese thing. Small improvements. So all the time you need not have a big research and new products and new things. Nothing. Even in your day-to-day life, you can have small improvements. So how to reduce the manufacturing cost? So you study, you make a research. One of my students, he made a research in manufacturing that how to reduce the manufacturing cost. So he observed workers on the production line. He observed 4 production lines. For 1 month, he was observing the workers. He made all the notings. And you know what conclusion he has made after that research? And that was fascinating even for the supervisor of that company. The student said that using at the third in the production line, on the production line, at the third step, third level, when the product goes, your workers are fitting 6 screws. 6 screws. So there are 4. So every day, how many screws you require? 24. You require 24 screws. Actually, these workers, they are using 32 screws. He made research for 1 month. He also. So why 8 more? What is the cost of the screw? Every day 8 screws more. So how many for 1 month? How many for 6 months? How many for 1 month? What is the cost? Can you not reduce this? What is the reason? The reason is the workers, while fitting the screws, they slip those screws in their hand and the screws falls down and the worker doesn't take pain to pick up the screw again. He takes screws. Small. Is it not a small improvement? So maybe we will look at the things as what is that? Only 1 liter of water I'm using, wasting every day. But 1 liter of water every day means 30 liters every month. Means how many liters every year? And like this, every person if is wasting, what is the total loss of water? We don't look at the things. And so these are the small things that we do. In any organization, what is the wastage? How you can reduce the cost? Every time it may not be a big thing, but even a small thing can help. So how to do this now? Now, convince your workers that even if the spoon slips from their hand, they should pick up and pick down the same spoon. Make them aware. So train them. Make them aware that this action of theirs is adding cost to the firm. And so make them aware. Take them into confidence. Don't shout at them, but take them into confidence. And so this was done later on. So today you are wasting 8 screws a day. Bring that to 6 in 1 week. Bring that to 4 in another week. Bring that to 2 in another week. And bring it to 0 maybe in after 6 weeks. So this is small. It may not happen overnight. Try to understand. It may not happen overnight, but slowly you can make them and you can reduce the cost. And like this, if you study, now the students study only this one aspect, and then they say that ask your students to come and do more research here, so that we can reduce the cost. How you want, this is increasing. Look at the situation, look at the work that is being done and how that work can be, or how the cost of doing that work. You can eliminate one complete step, for example. That is also. If you eliminate one step, that much cost is reduced. So, in any organization, whether manufacturing or service, this implementing research is then radical research, where completely new knowledge is being excluded. In order to make commercial use of that new knowledge. And I had given you the example, Madame Curie. Reading. Now, American research laboratories thought of making commercial use of radium, which Madame Curie didn't think. She was into radical research. She gave a new product, totally new product. But making the commercial use of that particular research is radical. And so you will find that. But mainly the scientists are involved. Now, for example, research on corona vaccine was a radical research, and later on it was put into commercial use. For that matter, any vaccines, I should say, any medicine for that matter. New medicine on cancer, for example, radical research, new, but making it commercial, mass production, you have to make so many changes. So what radium Madame Curie had invented, the same was not used by the commercial users. They made the necessary changes into that. For that, they have to make their own research. And so radical research is the discovery of new knowledge. The goal is to make the commercial use of that. Then fundamental research, mainly theoretical work. And the purpose is purely to gain new knowledge. Conceptual research, for example, is a fundamental. Happiness is a concept. Or lifestyle. Today we talk a lot about lifestyle management. You know? So lifestyle, new concept, experiments are being done, and to obtain the new knowledge about. Then targeted or basic research. They are technologically oriented and they are mainly oriented towards a particular situation or particular problem. The workers who are now in that tunnel, to rescue them, this is a targeted. Many teams have come from outside also, from other countries also. And what they are doing research, how to rescue these workers now. This is targeted research only for that particular situation. That in the tunnel 41 workers are there, and we have to escape from that tunnel. How? Targeted research. You cannot do it without this. So they have to do a lot of research that whether you can have alternative, whether you can break the debris that is being fallen and then rescue. You can have a back entry from the tunnel for the tunnel. Can you have that? So all types of alternatives are being thought. Research. So government or industry, they collaborate and they try to resolve it. Here, what has happened is, in this case, both the government and the technology, the industry experts, they are collaborating with each other to do that particular work. And so in this targeted basic research, so for example, constructing a dam, for example, Tihiri Dam, for example, which is, or constructing a cricket pitch in Dharamshala. So industry and government, they collaborate, they do a lot of research in Dharamshala, which place for the ground. Why this place and not other? So you do a lot of research. What kind of place you need for a cricket match or for a cricket ground? Lot of research, and then all of them they collaborated. This is a targeted research. What was the target? To have a ground, cricket ground in Dharamshala, which is the highest cricket ground in Asia, in the world. So if you have that kind of a project, then we say targeted research, then applied research. Practical solution for the present problem. Whether to have a flyover at this particular point where there is a traffic jam. Applied research. Solution for existing problems. Innovation. Creation and development of new technologies. 4G, 5G. New technologies. So it is even in medical science, new technologies. So earlier, recently I have got to know this. Earlier, for your angiography, the system was different. Today they have a new machine. You know? It is not in Nasik. It is only with 2 hospitals, Apollo and one more.
Yes. Yeah, so
I don't know. But they have we do that MRI. That machine is like that machine, MRI machine. And a person goes inside and the robots do angiography and they come. So manual, no. So innovation. If you go to that one of the new hospital, see they have one big hall, and in that hall, on all the walls, they have presented how the technology innovation has changed the treatment of cancer over a period of time. It's a very novel. I went there for my corona vaccine, and that time I saw that. And full wall, big hall it is. And right from the beginning till today, how the technological innovation has changed treatment of cancer, that is all displayed on all the. So, technological innovations in order to resolve the various problems. And so you will find that there are different types of researches which are being done in order to take the decisions by the. Should we stop here? Stop. Tired? Are you getting my points? Understand? Can you understand? Exam is correct. Okay, then we stop here today because see, I don't know. I give lot of examples, so I take a lot of time in coming. I don't leave it like that just to, but I give you many examples for every line that I'm telling you.
Interesting income.
Huh?
Interesting income. That's the daily life management.
You also use.
You are working there.
I'm working in one person agency. Since
You are also working. What is your earlier qualification?
Master,
Basic.
master's in psychology.
Master in psychology.
First in
So you will be taking HR specialization. Okay. What is your earlier? You are working
Yes,
there.
tribal development.
Where?
Tribal development.
Tribal development. And what is the earlier qualification?
MBA.
Okay. Where you are working?
Event management.
Okay. You do lot of research. Or you don't do? What is your earlier qualification? You are working.
Access
Access manager.
assistant manager.
Okay. So, are you able to correlate what I'm saying? Are you able to correlate with your working, what I'm telling you right now? Research now,
You able to understand what she's saying.
तुमच्या रोजच्या जे तुम्ही काम करता त्याच्याशी मी जे बोलतेय ते तुम्ही काही संबंध लावू शकताय का दोन्हींचा? लावू शकताय. You are also working where? Huh?
Event management.
Photography, event management. Working somewhere or you have your own business? Own business. Student, and your qualification? Degree. Chalo. So, we are very strong today. And next time. I don't know. Times are really especially not very no.
We get and speak it expert.